Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is Saturday afternoon, and I saw an interesting tweet just about now, where a lady is talking about how tracking her expenses via Excel has helped her realize just how much she's paying in interest, and that has helped her in turn make a plan. So welcome to new viewers, welcome back to existing viewers, and hopefully subscribers. So I'm going to take you through, I think, a bit of how I tackle debt. I've grayed out the home loan number 2 because I haven't started those repayments. It's still in the pipeline. It's still it's a new development, so it's still behind the scenes, but I do want to show you what that's going to look like. You want to check out the previous video on my credit card and how you calculate the interest paid there, because it's a revolving loan, so it calculates differently to your home loan and your vehicle finance, which are amortizing loans. So the calculation here, I'm just going to plug in from the previous workbook, and then I'm going to go about calculating the others and showing you how. So I have 10,000 on my credit card. I have an interest rate of prime, which is 9.75 currently, and the monthly installment, that's the maximum monthly installment, right? So the maximum monthly installment is 500. So that's the one I'm going to put in because I'm still at the beginning of the term, right? So there's it. So 9.75. Credit minimum installment is 5%. So I'm going to take the interest portion of 81 and the capital portion of 418. So interest is 81. And here I'm just going to take the balance. I'm not too picky about the decimal places, right? So I'm just going to fill it in there. And then, I haven't saved it. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to show you how to figure out for the others. So my home loan is a 390. It's actually 384, but I'm busy moving it to a new bank. So I'm going to capitalize that initiation fee of about 6K. So I'm budgeting for 390 going forward, which is fine. I don't want to pay that money out of pocket right now because I have such a low interest rate. For me, it makes sense to just capitalize it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us to Uber Home Loans, and then I'm going to show you how I go about calculating the difference between the interest and the capital portion, right? So for the first one, I say 390 is my total amount of my loan. I have about 240 minus 7, 233 months, but because I'm refinancing, it's going to reset to 240. So it's still 240 months, sadly. And then the interest is 7.25, or rather it's going to be, because I'm only moving to staff rates now. So previously I had prime -1, which is also like a really good rate. No fixed term, no fixed interest rate, it's all floating, right? So 7.25, you have to understand that this is obviously a current state of things, because we are in an interest rate hiking cycle. So these amounts are going to change because the interest is going to increase over the next couple of months, and then it usually mellows out. I mean, this is a 20-year term. So what it's basically telling me is that my repayment amount is 3,082, interest amount is 2.4, and capital reduction is 726. So this is what I'm going to fill in. This, of course, doesn't take into account the monthly fee that you pay on your home loan. Same with the West Bank, the vehicle, where you pay a monthly, amount towards that. But we're not going to take care of that because we're only interested in the actual installment, right? And not the fee component. So I'm going to put in 382. I'm actually going to move this to my other screen so that I've got better view of it. Right, so it's 382, and then the interest portion is 2336, 56. Capital portion is 726, right? That's on home loan number 1. And then home loan number 2 is 485. I'm also gonna, add the 6,000 initiation there. So it's gonna be 485 plus 6, so 491. 491,000, right? Also 240, also at that amount. And then when I calculate here, it says the repayment is gonna be 3.8, the interest is gonna be 2966. Capital reduction is going to be 914, so I'm going to add that as well. Let me just fix the amount here to 491. Right, so the monthly installment is going to be 3881. The interest, oh, actually, it's not going to be prime minus 2.5, it's going to be prime minus 2. No, this one's going to be prime minus 2. Okay, actually, I'll leave them both here. But what happens with my staff benefits is the highest valued one gets prime minus 2.5, and then the second one gets prime minus 2, then the third one gets prime minus 1.5, and then everything after that, it's not on a staff benefit. But yeah, let me actually fix it. So this one's going to be fine. It's going to be, because it's going to be the highest. So it's going to go to 2966, and the capital portion is going to be 914, which, you know, is just the sum of that, right? The 3880. But what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to change this to prime minus 2. So it's going to be 7.5 rather. And then that's obviously going to change the installment as well. So we're going back to, I think, 390. We're going to change this to 7.5 as my interest rate. So you see that the amount goes up a bit, right? So it actually goes to 3142, goes up by about 60 bucks. 2438 also goes up. And the capital portion is 704. Right. That should sum 3142. That should sum 3880. Oh yeah, it's just decimals. Okay, and then for vehicle finance, so because a vehicle is also an amortizing loan, what does that mean? It means that over time, what you're essentially doing with every monthly installment, you are paying a portion towards capital and a portion towards interest. So over time, that's how it moves. I can actually show you. So if you go on cars.coza, we can actually see on the tools. So if you go to car finance, not car finance. So if I go to finance calculator rather, for a vehicle price of 223, I don't have a deposit, don't have trade-in, interest rate of 7.25 over 72 months. What it basically shows you is how it moves over time, right? Your total amount, and it splits it into the total amount as well as the interest portion. I don't know why it's not showing as nicely as I would have liked. I don't quite like it. But what it's basically showing is the total amount. Actually don't like this. Let me say West Bank has a nicer calculator. Calculate budgeting. Okay, let's see. So 2.3 deposit 0.72, no balloon, interest 3918. Oh, I thought it had a nice, I don't remember why I saw that, but it had a nice amortization schedule where it was showing you the, you know, the difference between the interest payment and the capital portion, but I forgot what the tool was. But essentially, it's the same for a car, and it's the same for a home loan. That's just how it's the nature of the loans. It's the same for a personal loan as well, but it's different to a credit card because credit is a revolving product, whereas the other three are all amortizing products. So for my car loan, I'm going to do the same thing to get that amount. So it's 223. Definitely not over 240, so it's over 72 months. Again, I think I'm actually at 70. Yes, I showed the West Bank statement the other day. So I'm actually at 70 months, and here it's 7.25, right? So when I calculate, the installment is 3916. I'm just going to move this to the other screen. So the installment is 3916. Again, you'll see that excludes the 69 Rand monthly fee for the car, and I forget what the amount is for the home loan. It's about 89 if I'm not mistaken. And then the interest portion is 1347, and the capital portion is 2569. Right. So what this is basically showing me is that this is me next year, right? When the home loan number 2 kicks in around March or April. What this is basically telling me is that I'm paying the highest interest on my home loan, actually, home loan number 2. And then home loan number 1 is going to be the highest interest, payment. Vehicle finance 3 is going to be 3rd. And then my credit card is actually my cheapest. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to insert a row here. And then I want to calculate my total installments, my total obligation, as well as, how much I'm, exposed at. It's my total credit exposure, right? So that's my total exposure, total installment, total interest. Right, so these are, let's say, let me merge and center that. Okay, nice little, actually, I wanted the borders there, but that's fine. Total. So what this is basically telling me is I've effectively borrowed around just over $1 million. And to service that debt, I pay around 11,000, which makes sense. That's about 10% of that, right? And you can see that my rates are roughly 10%. Or just under, and you can see that the interest portion in total, the interest portion of that 11,000 is about 6,000. That is a lot. And then the capital portion is the 4,000. Let me actually do that as percentages. This is interesting. I think I'm getting the shock of my life, right? All right. Oh, I didn't merge and center. All right. So as a percentage, what I actually want is this as a percentage of that. So what this is effectively saying is it 1? Oh, okay. So it's 1%, right? Yeah, of the total. No, I actually wanted this as a percentage of that. So these are 3 different numbers, right? So the number in blue, right, is the percentage of interest. Oh, my monthly installment is 1% of my total outstanding, right? So I've borrowed $1 million, or just over $1 million. I borrowed 1,100,000 from banks, and every month I pay 11,000 towards that debt, and that is 1% of the loan amount, right? The interest portion speaks to the interest portion of the actual installment. So what this is telling me, let me show this in another color. I'll show it in green. So the green is basically telling me, okay, that is, I'm divided by itself. That's definitely wrong. So what this is telling me, and these two go together, right? This is basically telling me that my interest portion is 59%. So 60% of my 11,000 that I pay monthly to service my debt is going towards, interest, and only 40% is going towards capital reduction. That doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound great. You know what I'm actually going to do? I'm going to remove the home loan because I want to see a realistic view of what's happening currently. So currently what's happening is, I'm also going to make that 0. So currently, this is like this year point in time. Currently, I'm paying 7,600 towards my obligations, right? 3,000 towards my home loan, 3,900 towards my vehicle finance, and 500 Rand towards my credit card. And 50% of that, is going towards interest, and 48% is going towards the capital portion. So this doesn't look as bad as, with the added home loan, but you will see that the home loan only adds 10% to this. And that's because the home loan is about half, or it's actually a third of my total, what I've borrowed, because without the home loan, the second home loan, I've actually borrowed only 600,000, right? So a funny thing, so I bought a buggy. I bought a Nissan NP200. It cost me about, the car itself was 199,000. I think that was before VAT, because you know how funny these things are. And then I had a canopy that was about 14,500. And then I had a tow bar. The tow bar was about 6,000. Then I also bought a radio. You have to pay for the radio. I think that was about 2K or 2.3 roundabout. And then I bought a service plan. The service plan was about 20K, right? So in total, the car was about 240. No, it was about 250, and then I paid 8,000 rand in deposit, right? Because MFC had made some sort of mistake and they qualified me for over 20% in extras. So because the car is 199, I can only get about 20% in extras. So they'd over allocated how much it was, and then when they realized that, I had to pay a deposit up front, which is fine because then I just put it on my credit card, and that's part of the reason why I've got like a high, credit what. But I moved most of the credit from my Nedbank credit card because I was no longer staff to my current credit card, and that's why I have the staff rate on my credit, right? And that's why I have that amount there. So I bought like a really cheap car because I put in a significant deposit on my home loan. So what I didn't want to do is I didn't want to be paying for an expensive car here. I didn't want a high installment relative to my home loan because to me it wouldn't have made sense. I mean, right now my home loan is 700 rand lower than my vehicle finance. Like, imagine if I bought a car for like 400,000. Then this installment, I can actually calculate it. We don't have to imagine. So if my loan was 400, right, over 72 months, brand new vehicle finance, then I would be paying about 7K, 6,800. And obviously my insurance would be high as well because I've been insuring like high liability, a higher asset rather, sorry. So 6,900 is what I would be paying as a repayment amount. Now, never mind the capital and the interest portion. But here, for me, that didn't sit right. You understand what I mean? I didn't want to be paying for a vehicle twice my home loan. Like, from my flat, I can't even see my parking. So I'd be paying for something that I can't even see, but also I don't care about cars that much. So I bought a really cheap car because of this split that I had in my mind. Also, I tried my utmost best to keep like this amount down, what I've borrowed and what I'm exposed to. But I saw the tweet and I really liked what the lady was showing. Let me see if I can actually just pull that out. So here's it. Yeah, I'll pull the tweet out. So what she's basically saying is, and I liked it, so let me go to the tweet. She says, tracking gave me clarity. I realized I was paying almost $16K in interest every year. So she shows the split. She's got credit card 1, card 2, she's got a mortgage, student loan, credit card, residence mortgage, so that's an investment property. She's got 4 student loans, 2 credit cards, and then she just shows the split, right? She shows the balance, right, on the loan. She shows, the monthly installment. She shows the interest rate. Those are quite high rates on, credit card number 3, credit card number 2, and number 1. But like, she's got really good rates on her mortgage, right? And then she's got the annual, interest, a portion to that. And then she further goes on to say, tracking gave me motivation. With 16K going to interest every year, this is basically 1/3 of my take-home pay at the time. I realized I would never get wealthy if I continue to have debt. So the salary is here, the living expenses are here. With debt, without debt, they're always going to be the same. That's your electricity, your rates and levies. Electricity, like I said, water, if you pay for water in your complex, or if it's including your levies. Retirement investing, debt payments, with like that's how much of a chunk they were taking. And then interest only. She split the debt, which is the principal and interest. And basically what she's saying is without debt, this is how much it could be, effectively invested day to day. So that's what she's trying to cut out. And then on number 3, she says, tracking gave me the ability to create a plan, pay off high interest debt first, sell the loss generating duplex, minimize interest expense. So you'll see here that she's got her savings, she's got her checkings, she's got a 401k, which is, the retirement plan, Jeep, which is a car, vehicle loan, property, which is student loan 4. Oh, sorry, she's got her home, what? She's got her assets, she's got her debts. I was reading that incorrectly. And then she apportions it again with the outstanding balance, the monthly installment, the interest rate, the annual, and all of that. And then she says, Tracking align my actions to my goal. Goal 1, be debt free. Have a positive net worth. Become a millionaire. I love this for her. Okay, so this is where she was at. Net worth wise, she was in the negative. That's how much debt she had outstanding. Debt change, net worth change, and all of that. So that's what she was working on. And then she says that tracking helped me get focused. I visually saw how each action impacted my money. I looked at this chart a lot, working towards a positive net worth and a zero debt balance. I absolutely love this for her. I love it. And then she says, TLDR, tracking is a powerful tool. It gives clarity, provides, motivation. That's absolutely true. That's why I like making lists as well. It gives the ability to create a plan. It aligns actions to goals. It provides focus. And then if you enjoyed this thread, okay, so she was basically motivating for tracking your expenses and your stuff, on Excel, just keeping track so that you can make a plan, so that you can do something about your financial situation. Because I see a lot of financial, people on socials talking about tackling your lowest debt, and becoming financially free, financially independent, retire early. We all want that, right? And you all know how to do it, but are you looking at the numbers? You have to let the numbers, tell you what must happen, so that it's not all, just coming out of your mind. So previously, I'm just going to fill this in as well, so that I can get to, the point I was trying to make, which is basically letting the numbers tell me which of my debts I should be tackling first. So I was saying for my second home loan, it's going to be 485, so 491, right? That's going to be over 240, and it's going to be at prime minus 2.5, right? But it's probably going to be 7.75 by next year, right? So total interest, so my installment is going to be 3881. That's excluding the monthly fee. 3881. That's going to be 2966. And the interest portion of that is going to be 914. No, I did that wrong. This is actually wrong. This should be here, right? And then the loan amount is 491. Right. So this goes back to what we're saying. So I'm highlighting it because it's not like currently what I'm paying. But it's also something that I go into the new year, planning for, right? Next year, my financial situation is going to look completely different, especially if I don't, secure a tenant or if there's some vacancy. So what this is basically telling me is, if I want to, go the direction of becoming debt free and all of those things, and basically just chasing my highest debt, I would look at this, the interest portion, right? And it's not a percentage based, because if it was percentage based, then obviously I would tackle my credit card because it's my most expensive debt. But in this scenario, what you actually looking at is that month on month, I'm only paying 81 Rand in interest on my credit card. So it doesn't make sense for me to say, let me close off my credit card first because the interest rate is higher, right? What makes more sense for me to do would be to say, okay, let me put in money into my investment property, because the investment property at 2966 is effectively, that's ugly. The investment property at that amount is effectively my, my hardest point. You understand? It's the one that's costing me the most in terms of interest on a month-to-month basis. Let's say now I get 50K. This is the same example I made, on the previous, on the credit card, on the credit card example. So let's say I get a bonus, right, of 50K. What I'm basically trying to suggest is it would be better for me. Let me charge my laptop. What I'm basically suggesting is that if I got that 50K, it would be better for me to put that money into my second home loan rather than to, clear out my credit card or put it in my car. And for me, I got a car that lasts really long, so I also don't have an urge or I'm not pressed to finish paying it, and that's why I took 6 years instead of 5. So what I'm saying is, if I put in 50K, let me look into my home loan. I'm going to do extra payments, right? I have a WhatsApp where I actually showed you how to go about Uber home loan, so check out that video as well. So let's say I have 491, right? So it's still at 20 years. It's 7.25, right? My monthly repayment, we said it's 3881. 3881, once off payment, that bonus 50K. So what we're essentially trying to do is we're trying to see how much the interest portion will decrease by for my home loan if I put in a lump sum of 50,000. And is that decrease higher than the 81 Rand? So basically, is it better for me to put the money into my home loan number 2, or is it better for me to pay off, my credit card and to put it in my vehicle finance or whatever? So 50K, let's go. So total loan amount is 747, total repayment is that. The term reduces by that much, right? But this doesn't actually tell me anything about the interest, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the total repayment. It's still the same, but I'm going to take this and then I'm going to put it on the repayments calculator. And I'm going to put in a term of 16 years to see how much interest I'm going to be paying, right? So I'm going to take still 491. Right, so it's still 491. Nothing's changed there. But instead of 20 years now, I've reduced the loan term by putting in that extra, 50,000. I still have, quite a favorable, interest rate, and I'm super, grateful for that. I'm going to put that here, and what it's basically telling me is that my monthly repayment is 4328. I should have actually taken this to the amortization because it's not telling me anything about the split anymore. So it's still 491. Number of months on loan, it's 16 now. Let's see what's I'm just gonna work out here what's 16 times 12. That's 192. Okay. So I'm gonna take this as 7.25, and then I'm gonna calculate. So it's saying that my new repayment would be 4328, the interest would be 2966, and the capital reduction would be that much. So I'm going to take this and then, where's my Excel? I'm going to take this and then I'm going to replace it here to see, what that would look like. So it's going to be home loan 2 modified, right? So it's home loan 2 modified. It's going to be the same interest rate. It's going to be the same loan amount, right? And then the monthly installment is now going to be a bit higher, 4328. So this is the equivalent of the reduction, right? And the interest portion is going to be 2966. It's still the same. The capital reduction is higher though, 1362. Do you see that? So what I'm going to do is I don't want to switch off home loan 1, but I want to direct it to the new one. But I want to I should have taken snapshots now. You see, okay, I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to put it at the bottom here. So this is what it looked like before, right? Actually, I can just put this whole thing next to here. Let me make this smaller. So I'm going to take this whole thing and then I'm going to put it here. Alright, let me kill this. I just want some space. Cool. So I'm doing an if statement, right? So my if statement is basically saying, if I get a bonus of 50K, where can I best allocate it on my spreadsheet? And I'm suggesting that putting money, a lump sum into my home loan number 2, because it's the highest one in terms of interest portion currently, would be, best for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm coming here and I'm going to switch it to the numbers we just discussed, 4328. If you're getting a bit confused, just go back in the video so that we're all on the same page. The interest portion stays the same. And then the capital reduction goes to 1362. The interest portion stays the same because I reduced the number of months. So I'm not paying it over 240 again. So what you're basically seeing is that my monthly installment goes up from 11.4 to 11.8, right? The interest portion stays the same. The capital portion, increases. And what you're seeing is, did that calculate everything? As a proportion of the new amount. I was wondering why that didn't change. And then this as a proportion of the new amount. Yes. All right. So what you're basically seeing is the change from here is that the interest portion went down like I thought it might, right? And then the capital portion went up because of that 50K that I put in there, right? So you can play around with this and figure out if it's cheapest for you to put it in your credit card, or for you to put it in your home loan, or for you to put it in your vehicle finance. But for me, as it stands, my interest portion on my home loan, number 2, the new development, is actually the one that can hurt me the most. So it's the one that I'm likely to try and tackle the most. But also it doesn't make sense at the very beginning because I can get tax write-offs from SARS because it's an investment property. So that's also something I need to be mindful of. So it's not necessarily something I would do, but I'm just showing you that, the second best after this one, because this is a residential one, the second best would be to tackle that one rather than for me to say, okay, let me pay off my full, credit card and. For me, paying 2.4 towards interest monthly hurts my pocket more than paying, only 81 Rand. But if you have questions, I've said a lot. If you have questions, please drop them in the chat. Let's engage. Let's see what you think about everything. And yes, I'm gonna close the video off now, and then you'll let me know if I said anything that confused you, said anything that you don't agree with, and what you think. I mean, how are you tackling your debt? I think start by tracking. I'm not at the stage where I'm going to share my budget on the socials, but I think I like what that woman did, and it worked for her. I've always been money conscious, and that's really helped me. I was money conscious in varsity when I barely had money. I'm money conscious now when I still barely have money. So I'm definitely going to be money conscious when I get the big bucks. So it's a habit. Finances is a habit. It's something that you train at. It's like going to gym. You have to keep going. You're not going to see results the first day, even if you go for 8 hours. It's better to actually go for 30 minutes daily than to go for 8 hours in one day. So I'm going to close it off here, and then happy to engage. Like I said, as always, check out my previous videos. They'll tell you a bit more about what I touched on here if you're feeling a bit lost. And thank you.